Well, this team, as I've said a couple of times, this is the most accountable team we've had. And when I say that, it's a metric that we have, with our accountability teams, and you have positive points, negative points, and whatever. And this team's had, collectively, has had the fewest negative points of any team we've had. So we'll see what that means. But coming into the first game, we don't have many negative points on this team. This group has really done what they needed to do. And so that's a sign of leadership. That's a sign of accountability. And we'll see if it translates to some dubs.
You talked about, the state of college football and how there's a lot of unknowns a lot of times coming into a new season. You have to go watch a lot of different film. You guys present a lot of your own in that way, though, as well, between obviously Garrett and Cade, but then plenty of guys that didn't scratch the surface because of injuries last year or youth and coming up. Is there a level of, I just feel like as a competitor, there has to be a level of, ha ha ha, you have no idea. I don't know if you cackle, but, I would be cackling in this moment.
I don't know about that. I just think it's just fun to go play, and it's a new team every year. And yeah, they probably know more about us, because they've got some guys in there too deep that we really hadn't seen at Duke. We don't have a bunch of those guys. Tyler Brown would be one. They've seen Adam. They've got a glimpse of Cole last year. They've seen Antonio, seen our backs. They hadn't seen Tristan much, as we just talked about. But they've seen a lot of all them D linemen. But there's always new players on both teams. Newcomers. I remember we opened up one year with, it was the year I got the job. Matter of fact, Roll Tide, right? It was Alabama. We played them in the opener, and they had a guy named, I think his name was Terrence Cody. We didn't have any idea who that guy was. We had no clue. But by the end of the first quarter, Google.com, who is this guy? He destroyed us and went on to, I think, destroy everybody that year. But so, yeah, there's always unknowns, and you kind of figure it out as you go. But I think it's just more, not as much about who we're playing and, that, as opposed to just excited to see us play, and see what we can do, and then how they take it to when the lights get bright. It's different.
Trey Williams' status.
He's doing good. He's not ready to play. He's doing really good though. He's going to be ready to play, and we're going to kind of see how it goes with him. As y'all know, that's been here. He's been through Lord have mercy. He's had both shoulders. He's had knees. He's had a little bit of everything on his body. He's dealt with. And so we're really trying to kind of take it slow with him, because we could get a year back with him, and so a lot of that depends on, again, how we perform, if we can stay healthy at the D tackle position. We do have a little bit of depth obviously with TD and Root back, so he's going to play, and we'll be ready to play, but we're going to kind of see, and it's something we've talked about, and maybe if we can hold him as long as we can, and let's really just fortify his body and get him in a great spot. And then if we could steal a year back, that would be great for us and for him. But we don't know right now. But he's trending in the right direction. He's doing good. He's working back in practice. He's back in green now. So we'll see where he is in a few weeks.
You have a progress report on Stellano?
Yeah, hey man, he missed all of camp basically, but he's ready to roll. He's actually practiced for about the past week, I guess, and he looks good. He was having a great summer, and everything was going well there, and then he just pulled his hamstring running a deep post route one day in skills and drills, and it really just set him back. It was just bad timing for him, because he was working his way back into full progression, obviously coming off the ACL last year, but he's looked really good for a guy that hadn't played in 2 years, and a guy that's mean, he's flashed for sure. And there's no question. I mean, he could help us if he can just stay available.
Dabo, how do you capitalize on Cade's running ability while also protecting his health?
Well, he's just, a lot of that's on him. I mean, he's got to be smart, don't try to be a hero. There's times where, he's going to, protection might break down or whatever, and he's going to have to run, or get outside the pocket and maybe extends a play. Maybe the coverage is there, and so he, goes and gets 5 or 6 yards and you just get out, or get out of bounds or whatever. You don't just, you just got to be smart. And then there's times where, hey, man, it's fourth and gritty, and you got to go get it. So that's just the nature of the game. But he's got to just go play football. There's no purple jerseys when those lights come on. So you got to go play, and you can't play in fear. You got to go play the game. And again, just obviously he will run the ball some just by design, and it's just make them have to defend one of the best athletes on the field. But that doesn't mean he's running quarterback power 15 times a game. So he's a little different than Taj in those days. A little different.
Obviously, scheduling works out the way it works out, but not everybody has to open against their conference opponent. So what kind of edge does that bring to, say, the end-of-season resume when you have to face someone in your own league to start?
I think it all, by the time we get to that, it's what type of year did that team have, right? I mean, that's ultimately what everybody judges you on, at the end of the season. Everybody gets excited in whatever moment you're in. Teams can be, what was it, last year there were 12 preseason top 25 teams that didn't even finish ranked. So I'm sure if you played one of those games early, it was great. But by the end of the year, they're like, well, they stunk. So, I mean, that stuff will, just like if they're playing us, and if they beat us and, we have a crappy season, well, they're not going to get as much credibility later on in the year, right? So the season will determine all that stuff. But regardless of what's going to happen through the course of the season, I think anytime – you play a conference opponent in an opener, that's a tough challenge. And again, especially when you're playing a very confident, experienced, well-coached team on the road at their place on Labor Day night. There's a lot to that. And the winner of this game is going to benefit from a lot of wind in their sail. This is a huge opener for both teams and a great opportunity to get off to a good start for sure.
Adam Randall said last week one of the things that really sticks out to him about this team is how fast it is. Are there specific position groups you feel you guys are as fast as you've been in a little while? I
think we got speed everywhere. I think this is the fastest team we've had from a metric standpoint, or how we measure that. So hopefully that will translate to game day. But I think we've got speed at every position. We got receivers that can really run. We got tight ends that can run. We got running backs that can run. Our linemen are athletic and move well. Can do different things schematically with them. We got length and speed and athleticism all over the defense. So I think we've got speed across the board, really everywhere. Our linebackers run well. So we feel good about where we are athletically.
You revamped the coordinator media policy. Just what was your thinking there with Wes and Garrett? How much did they talk
Just one of those things I hadn't looked at in a long time. I think the last time we had any type of media change was maybe 2010 or 11. It was just one of those things in the off season you're looking at, and it was kind of eye-opening to me that we were very different from most of our peers, if you will, and just maybe a way to take a little bit off our staff and help them a little bit, not take some time away here and there, and so that's really it. I think we're still even with the little tweak we made, I think we're probably still more accessible than most, but it was just something I felt like. Looking at, again, our competitors that from a national standpoint all across the board, I just felt like it was a good change.
Any
ACC is the only conference playing all 5 days this weekend. 3 big matchups with the SEC. How much of an opportunity is this for the conference to get off to a good start?
I mean, great opportunity. I mean, for sure. Only way you change perceptions, if you will, is you got to beat people. You know, it was the perception about Clemson for a long time until we started beating people, and then had come up with something different. But you know, you can't beat people if you don't play those games, right? So that's why I was always a big proponent early on with Terry Don, like let's go play these games. We're going to win some, we'll lose some, but man, we need to play them because you know this is an opportunity to do something on the field. So you know it's a great opportunity for all the teams that get these big out of conference type openers or conference openers, you know, right out of the gate.
I know you talk a lot about winning the opener and the state championship and the closer and stuff like that, but when Eric Thomas was here, there was a video clip that came out where you said every class since 2013 has won a championship. You guys are on the clock. I guess how often have you been that direct with teams, and why did you feel like taking that task?
I'm always direct and transparent and brutally honest with every team. I just don't let a lot of clips of me in the team meeting room get out. So I'm very transparent with our team, but it all goes back to our goals. You know, if we hit all those goals, we'll win the national championship. That's a fact. You know, I'm the reason we lost the national championship in 2015. You know, and I didn't even realize it till I came back and I got in our team room and I looked at the goals and I'm like, well, geez, this is all on. I told the staff, I said, this is all on me. You know, they hit every goal we had on the board, and I'd always said since I got the job, I was like, man, like from day one, you know, it was win the opener, win the division, win the state, win the ACC, win the bowl game, right? And I always said, you know what, that's all we need to worry about. Let's quit worrying about winning a national championship and all this type of stuff. Well, you might have a great year, maybe you don't win the national championship. I mean, you know, you just a different mindset. And I always said if we hit all those, we'll win it all. Well, we did. We hit every one of those goals. And so I came back the next year, that spring, and I apologized to the team. I said, that's on me. You know, every day you walk in here and you got these goals, and and we did all these. And so I changed it. I changed one word. Instead of win the bowl game, it was win the closer. Well, guess what? In 16, we hit every one of those, and we won the national championship. And here we are in 23. Now, we don't have a division anymore. So, you know, we win 10-plus games, you know. I think that's a huge – if you can win 10-plus games, you're going to be in the hunt as football is changing, you know, with expansion and all that stuff. So that's what we put. But the rest of the goals are the same. And if we hit all those goals, we'll win it all. But so nothing has changed. There's nothing. It was just a comment of, you know, kind of challenging some of these older. That's why they came back. I mean, these guys all got degrees. A few of them got master's degrees, you know, but, you know, they want an opportunity. But if that's what you want to do, that's great. And you're on the clock for that. And you know, that class of 19, those guys, this is their last opportunity. So if you want to really go after something like that really got no guarantees attached to it, you better lock in and have a great day today, because everything's going to matter on that day. And you only get so many opportunities to play. And if everything's perfect, we get 15 in our world. So, you know, quit worrying about those 15 and let's just have a great one today. So that's just, you know, nothing is different. Nothing's changed at all. That was just a clip of a moment.
Any questions for Coach from Zoom?
Hey, Coach. Jason Priester from all Clemson Tigers. You talked about the offensive line earlier. Are you guys fully healthy along on that unit? Is Walker Parks ready to go for Monday night?
Yeah, everybody's ready to go. Yeah, we feel great about the big boys in the trenches. Excited to see them play. And again, you know, I really like our depth. I think we've got some competition that will continue throughout the season, and some flexibility. Some guys that can really play multiple positions. And as I said earlier, I think we got 7 guys that I consider a starter right now. but we can only run 5 out there, so we'll see how it goes.
Anyone else in the room for Coach?
I guess you talked about Cade as a runner, but in terms of his pocket presence, how did you see that develop last year, late in the year? Do you think another year older and be able to manipulate the pocket and not bail as quickly?
Yeah, it's been a growth part for him for sure. That's an area he needed to get better. Physically, he needed to get better. He's done that. And then I think just overall, just awareness, speed of the game at this level, he needed to get a little better there too. And he's got so much confidence in his ability to escape. Sometimes that can be a detriment too. Because you can hold the ball and these dudes can run, and you got a lot of guys. So just having that kind of internal clock always in his head, just being decisive, and he's been awesome. I mean, he's a decisive dude. Whether he's right or wrong, he'll pull the trigger, and I love that about him. He's kind of a whoa guy, but he's had great pocket presence. In fact, it's probably been I've had to kind of encourage him a little bit, like, hey, let's go, because he's very poised. He's demonstrated that all throughout, spring and the summer, and shown a lot of maturity. But I think a lot of it is just the game has slowed down to him. I mean, he really has an understanding and a really good grasp of, not just offense but defensive football and how people are trying to attack what we do.
Is he, after having the activity, especially last year, going to the bowl game, was he asking different questions in the spring? Did he seem like he got it even more, having had that really intense experience?
Oh yeah. Well, especially with installing a new system, and with Garrett, I think that has been really good for him because he had a good understanding of what he's been exposed to. But kind of changing some terminology and some things like that, it really forced him to spend a lot of time studying and so forth, and he gets it. I mean, this kid's played a lot of ball. I mean, he really understands. I mean, he's a natural, at the position. He's a natural for what we do, and Garrett's done a great job of just handling him. And as all those quarterbacks, I think we've got a good group. I think we've got a good room of guys that we're confident in. But Cade certainly is the leader of that group.
Who's the last whoa guy you had to that extent? Did you talk about Cade?
Whoa guy?
Yeah, you said you got.
I don't know. I don't want to compare him. We'll see. We'll see how he does. But I'm excited to watch him. I think he's ready.
Anyone else for Coach? All right, thank you, Coach.
No Tim Beret question today?
Just taking it all in.
That's what happens when you're a married man. You just kind of
Thanks, everybody.
slow down.
Jake Bransfield will be first.